slowly steal that one page at a time.
At a time, that's right. I assume that somebody left that here for me to use.
All you gotta do is put your name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours.
Well, Becky's got
Is
like
that how
50
it
of
works?
those. Becky's got 50 of those little notepads up there in front. But every time I get one, I end up leaving it at home. So now I've got 25 of them at home. All right, here we go. Now, everybody, hopefully everybody remembers where we're at last week, what was going on last week. Right? We ended up with Barnabas had sold a piece of property and given the money laid the money at the apostles' feet, given the money to the church for the public use, or the use of the church. All right. And other people were selling property and things like that. And they were sort of living in a perfect communal environment. Right? But everything's going to, but 5 starts with the word but. But a certain man named Ananias, with Sapphira his wife, sold a possession. And he kept back part of the proceeds, his wife also being aware of it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. Now, so far, what we've read here, there's nothing wrong with that. Right? So far, there's no problem. It says a certain man named, gives his name, says he sold a possession. No problem there. It says he kept back a part of the proceeds, his wife also being aware of it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. Nothing wrong there either. Right? But Peter said, Ananias. Now, let me make sure we're aware of this. Ananias is at church by himself. They're meeting, they're gathering together. Ananias is there. She's not with him. It says, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep part of the proceeds of the land to yourself? Now, it sounds like when we said that, saying, wait a minute, he did do wrong. He kept part of the proceeds to himself. That's not what he did wrong. Okay? We haven't got sort of the full story yet.
But in a way, the sin had already been committed.
The sin had already been committed,
Yeah,
yes.
in the first.
Yes,
Okay.
but the sin was not that he kept part of the money back. He said, while it remained, was it not yours? Was it not your own? Speaking of the property. And after it was sold, was it not in your own control? Meaning the proceeds. Why have you conceived this thing in your heart? You have not lied to men, but to God. Now there's where we get the sin of it. He sold the property. He gave part of the proceeds to the church. He led them to believe that he gave all of it. Right? Why would he do that? In fact, why did he do any of it?
Look good.
Look good. His actions revealed his motive here. Now, one thing that we don't see, we don't read in this anywhere, is how Peter found out about this.
Yeah,
Somebody came and told him or anything.
Well,
Yeah, I wonder if it was just straight Holy
I
Spirit.
believe it was. Now, we don't know that for sure. Somebody could have come and told him. But I think the apostles had something that we don't have, right? We do have to judge based on fruits. We have to judge based on actions, right? But there's a discernment there that they had that I think was the Holy Spirit. Now, somebody could have come and told them this. But
When I read this, for some reason it reminded me of the story of Nathan. And I wanted to ask with that, I know it's mildly off topic, but was David and Bathsheba, was that like a well-known thing when Nathan came to him? Or do we know that? Or was
couldn't have been completely secret. There's no way it could have been. Too many
Oh,
people knew about it, but we don't. But I still believe that God spoke directly through Nathan in that situation too. So. All right. So he says this statement after the question mark there. He says, "You have not lied to men, but to God." That goes back to David again, right? Had he lied to men?
Yes.
Ananias did lie to men, right? So what is he saying here when he says, "You've not lied to men, but to God"?
He sinned against God and God alone.
That's what David said. David said, "I've sinned against you and you alone," even though we know he had sinned against many other people in that situation, most notably Uriah. But he had sinned against him and him alone. In other words,
I think it was one worse than that, if I remember right. and I may be not remembering right,
Say it again now.
that he done worse than that. The servant that came and told him that Saul was dead on the battlefield, what happened to him?
Mm. You mean the one that came and told him that Absalom was dead? Is that what you're talking about?
No, when Saul was killed on the battlefield.
Well, he did. That did go badly, but if I'm remembering the story right, it's because he came and told him that he was responsible for Saul's death. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because he murdered him, right?
Yeah.
Or he killed him, had
Yes.
him killed.
Yeah.
So that's murder.
Yeah.
And I never could understand that, why the messenger
Yeah.
had any fault there.
Yeah. It's good.
It was just straight up
Yeah.
murder, it seemed like.
I think
Okay.
yeah. So all right. So let me see if I can get back on track here. So you've not lied to men, but to God. Now here's what I want us to think about for a second. We're going to go into this more as we move forward.
Before we get into that,
Okay.
why did you say that he hadn't committed sin yet?
No, I didn't say he hadn't committed sin yet. He had already committed sin. I said the sin was not.
The sin was holding back, right?
No, the sin was not holding back. The sin was lying about it. The sin was saying that he had given all of the money that he made from the sale.
It just doesn't say between 2 and 3, and he went to the temple and told everybody that this is all the money he got from the land.
Right. You'll see it lived out more when we get to here. Because you notice what he said. He says here, you have not lied to men, but you lied to God. He asked when Sapphira gets there, he asked her specifically the question. So, all right. Well, let's read 3 again before we go on to 3. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep part of the price of the land for yourself? Right? So the lie is that he kept part of it, but didn't tell them he kept part of it. He led them to believe that he gave them all of the money from the sale. He says in 4, while it remained, was it not yours? And after it was sold, was it not yours to control? You could have kept, it was your land, you didn't have to sell it. And it was your money after you sold it, you didn't have to give it to the church. But you did give it, and you claimed you gave it all. Right. And this is
that somewhere in here that I missed?
what part?
That he claimed he gave it all?
Well, it's going to be later. Let me get to where we read about his wife. Let's move on down and see if we see it in there.
Okay.
All right. It said, and Ananias, hearing these things, fell down and breathed his last. So great fear came upon all of those who heard these things. And the young men arose and wrapped him up and carried him out and buried him. That seems even to us so weird that the men got up at that time and picked him up and took him and buried him. Right? Instead of shutting everything down or whatever, calling people in, they got up and they took him and they buried him. Now it says, now it was about 3 hours later when his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. 3 hours later.
She didn't even know he was dead.
She didn't know he was dead. And the church has been going on for a long time. It's 3 hours later. All right, just think about that. They're still there. They're still praying. They're still worshiping. They're still meeting. And
See, I was
it's 3
wondering
hours later.
about that too. I hate to keep stopping, but
No.
but the law says if you touch a dead body, that you're unclean, right? So did they still abide by that law? The men that carried him away. So they couldn't come to the temple, right?
They weren't allowed to come in the temple and worship at that time. Now, whether they actually touched him or not, I don't know. They said they wrapped him up and carried him out. So, and then they would have, not only would they have taken him out buried, they would have taken him a long time to get back because they had to take him outside the city gates. He had to be buried immediately. That was the custom in Jerusalem. They buried him immediately. His wife came in not knowing what happened. Peter answered her, tell me whether you sold the land for so much. And she said, his feet and breathed her last. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carried her out, buried her and her husband. So great fear came upon all the church and upon all who heard it.
Dollar in my pocket, and I'm reaching in there, got off her plate, got 75 cents. I'm going back under the board.
George said this reminds her, we learned about spirits, this reminds her of pirates, black spot. She said maybe that's why they buried him so fast. Black spot, you know. Get him out of here.
So you think of it this way: if the sin had been keeping back part of it, then everybody who was there who didn't sell their property and gave all the money to the church would be guilty of the same sin. Everybody there didn't sell the property. Everybody there didn't sell the property and give all the money to the church. Just certain people did. And so, if the sin had been not to sell your property and give all the money to the church, people would have been dropping dead everywhere. But he says there, you have life. He says in what did you say first? Verse 3, Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep back part of the prize. And then again, 4, you have not lied to men, but you have lied to God. And it was a planned thing too. Right? They planned it. Why you conceived this thing in your heart? Him and his wife. She was aware of it.
You guys came in, seen her fall down dead.
There's a lot of things I wonder about, like even how did he ask her the question? Did he ask the question in a way that she felt like she was going to get praise for her answer? You wonder about that, because she answers immediately. She doesn't start trying to make excuses or anything.
Almost find it hard to believe that he would say it in some kind of way that sounded like he was tricking her or leading her on. I feel like she was probably more scared that maybe her husband had already said it, and she wanted to keep her story straight.
Yeah. Either way, she lied. Again, it was almost, this is one of those things that you see Christ doing these things when he asks questions. It was an opportunity to confess right there. Now, here's something I'm going to ask you. Let's talk about this. Were these people saved Christians, or were they regenerated Christians, or were they lost?
We don't know, but we assume that they were saved.
Do assume that they were saved.
How about here in 4? It says, now the multitude of those who believe were of one heart and one soul. Neither did one say anything, any of the things he possessed was his own, but they had all things in common. I mean, is this the same group of people we're talking about? Right?
Yeah, I think that's why this chapter started with but.
We're assuming that these are some saved people. I think they probably were. But see, I remember reading this in the past and think they weren't, right? Because of what happened. But that's because of me thinking the way a lot of people think that God punishes people that being punished with death is the ultimate punishment. But it's not. In fact, we read in other places in Scripture where Christians die for their sin. Not that they die and go to hell. But it's a sin that's a sin to death. So sometimes God kills people mercifully. Right? It's not just simply a punishment, but it's also, okay, this is your time to go. And you're going to go before you sin worse.
And we see evidence of that. That is not necessarily the case because, like Moses, and then Moses went up on Mount died, and then in the New Testament,
was doing things that normally kill him, but it didn't kill him. His wife was a horrible nag. And so he gets in a fight with his wife, and she accidentally falls out the window. But he decides he's going to take credit for killing her. He says, let's see what the electric chair is like. Anyway, he goes to trial and he's convicted. It's life in prison. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I always like this story about not holding anything back. Marlon was talking to me one time about tithing. I don't know how the conversation started, but he told me that every week he went and got a certain amount of cash out of the bank, and that was just whatever he ended up doing that week money. And he said that every Sunday he didn't do the 10% thing. He just would take the wallet out, whatever was in there was going to go to play. He said, sometimes it would only be a couple of dollars. He said, sometimes I forget I had that cash in there and I put the last dollar in the play. He said, but it kept him on a track of saying, hey, I'm here, I got it, it's his. And I always thought that was really good because it didn't make him check up when he realized, oh, that's $1,000. I'll give $100 a week.
I've heard a lot of people talk about this and give different views, what they think the Bible teaches about this, but I don't really read in the New Testament about us being compelled to give a tithe or compelled to give out of the abundance, which sometimes may be less than tithe, but oftentimes it's way more than that. And even,
I would be naive to think that the land that gave
Ananias,
now saving for this. He didn't have a hand in deceiving Ananias.
oh yeah, certainly did. Yeah, I think it's good that you call that out. See, that's one of those things too, where you think that there's one thing Satan cannot possess. Say first, he cannot possess you and control you. He certainly can have influence on your choices, and he does all the time. And Christ even told us when we pray. We don't actually say this most of the time. We start back to the Apostles' Prayer. It's deliver us from the evil one. That's what he said in the prayer. Not deliver us from evil, but deliver us from the evil one. Satan is the deceiver, a tempter. And it's allowing him. He says here, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie? Now, he's asking Ananias that. If he asked me, why has Kenny done something, then I either have knowledge of why Kenny did it, or I was part of why Kenny did it. And Ananias certainly doesn't have any power over Satan other than through Jesus Christ. He allowed Satan to tempt him. He allowed Satan to do that. Satan worked in him on this, and he allowed him to do that. We're not supposed to give, what does it say? We're not supposed to give place to Satan. We're not supposed to give room to Satan. Don't give him opportunity. I think it's a good idea to remember that when we pray, especially if you go back inside that prayer that the Lord taught us, deliver us from the evil one, deliver us from his power over us. I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but I'm glad you brought that up. Immediately should have asked. Now let me go back and read 11 again. So great fear came upon all the church and upon all who heard these things. Before we go into 12, I want us to think about this a little bit. This is church discipline at its finest. Wow. We are afraid to discipline in the church. We're afraid to. Right? Now, some churches are ridiculous about what they call church discipline. They're pharisaical about it. Right? But we are supposed to discipline according to within the church, right? So what is the effect of that?
The others hear it too. Says, on all those who heard these things.
What happened then? The death penalty.
The church didn't do that though.
Yeah, I mean, the Holy Spirit killed them. Right. You know that. But it was church discipline, calling them out publicly and addressing that. I don't know if Peter knew that they were going to die or not. I'm guessing by the time second came in, the church didn't kill them, but the church did discipline. They did call them out on this. God loved discipline. Now they have things we don't. First of all, they have that discernment that we don't necessarily have. And this hasn't happened recently.
I could say, if Josh Garney called Ashley out for something like that,
That would happen. Even if she hadn't done it, she would die. Call her up front, even if she hadn't done it. But even though this one was dealt out specifically by the Holy Spirit, this is a fearful thing. It says, great fear fell upon all the church and upon all who heard these things. And through the hands of the apostles, many signs and wonders were done among the people. They were all with one accord on Solomon's porch. Yet none of the rest dared join them, but people esteemed them highly. The people in general were now afraid of the people in the church. There was high esteem. They were afraid of it. What this would lead to immediately was anybody frivolously attending the church or claiming to be part of the church. It's like you see what happens to hypocrites within the church. So it says, and believers were increasingly added to the Lord, multitudes of both men and women, so that they brought the sick out of the streets and laid them on the beds and couches. That at least the shadow of Peter passing by might fall on them. The church is growing super fast. This has happened. This seems like the thing that you say, okay, as soon as that starts happening, membership is going to drop off quickly. But that's not what happened at all. Also, a multitude gathered from the surrounding cities to Jerusalem, bringing sick people and those who were tormented by unclean spirits, and they were all healed. Then the high priest rose up, and all those who were with him, which is the sect of the Sadducees, and they were filled with indignation. So one group is filled with the Holy Spirit, another group is filled with indignation, filled with a completely different kind of spirit.
You know, we see this, like with pruning, trademarks or anything else, you know, in order to see growth, you have to be pruning. It's dead.
God teaches us that this is sort of the vine, right? Prune it, break away the dead parts, and then it grows back healthy. What is indignation? Jealousy to the point of hatred. And it says that they laid their hands on the apostles and put them in the common prison. So the apostles are filled with the Holy Spirit. They're laying their hands on people and healing them. The Pharisees and the Sadducees are filled with indignation, laying their hands on people and casting them into prison because of these miraculous works. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable to think about that. They're witnessing this stuff just like everybody else. They are witnessing it just like everybody else. This is their reaction to it.
we were reading with Grady the other night. This week we've been reading over and over again the death and resurrection of Jesus. And when it got to the part where it was talking about the guards went to tell the Pharisees and high priests immediately, and they were like, "Oh, hey, go lie in case people find out this actually happened." Could you imagine knowing that Jesus Christ was who He said He was and rose from the dead? And now you're like, "Oh man, now people gonna find out."
Just imagine. You know, it's amazing that you think about people like some of the people who are the most outspoken atheists in the world right now. So when they get cornered
better than the face I was gonna make to describe him. And one of his notes that he wrote, he actually put that the only logical explanation is that there is an ultimate creator and that he probably is this God that they talk about. I said, but I will not believe that. You just said it. You said that you're a logic guy. And you said the only logical explanation is that that's true. But you just refused.
Exchange the truth for a lie. We have to be very careful about doing that with little details too. You know, like, okay, the Bible says this, but I've heard this. This sounds good to me. That, you know, one of my favorite Old Testament stories is that those two prophets, you know, that are not named, that one God tells him to do something, gives him specific instructions. He gets the instructions from God. He goes and is carrying out those instructions. And then somebody else comes to him and says, God told me to tell you this. And he chose to believe that. He knew the truth. It wasn't like he didn't already know the truth. He chose, he kind of talked himself into believing a lie because he wanted to. And it cost his life.
It makes me think sometimes too. You know that in times where we're all before the throne, that there are going to be people who didn't believe their entire life, who are all of a sudden this shame and realization of what they've done. Then you think about people like Richard Dawkins and Stephen Hawking and all them, who say they believe that's the only logical explanation, but they just refuse. You wonder, I'm afraid to think about what's going to happen.
Where is it in the Bible where it talks about I think it's Jesus telling the story about the wedding feast, whatever. But he describes being cast out. It's describing hell. It says there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. Somebody was talking about that. He said there's two different descriptions of hell right there that are different. That describe people who are going to be in hell. There are going to be people in hell who are going to be weeping with sadness because they're there. They're going to be miserable. And there are other people who are going to be angry and gnashing their teeth. They're in the same hell. They're suffering the same fate. But the reaction to that is even different. You know, there's those who are sad. They're sad over it, brokenhearted, and are lost forever. And there are those who, even beyond that, are angry with God and furious with God.
To speak to your point, I think I brought it up a year or two ago. He said, visit this, the last of the 5 greatest ones. Everyone came to the same conclusion that the earth could not have created itself by what is here. Something had to create it. And they acknowledged that it was a God. But they won't acknowledge that God deals in our lives and answers prayers and things like that. But they all agree that yes, there
I just saw Ben's time. Yeah, Ben's time interview, Bruce Dawkins. Have you seen that? It's really good. Anyway,
You're talking about on the interview on the
yeah, it's actually
trail.
yeah, and he said the same. He said, so do you think there's evidence for an intelligent design? And without, you tell Richard Dawkins was comfortable, like didn't feel like he was on the defensive, you know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, absolutely, I think there could be some sort of, alien life form or something like that that's a great intellect and blah, 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 and he goes into that could have came and planted these seeds of people on it, and then it cut to big sign for a while, he said, see, he actually believes in some sort of authority. He just refuses to believe this, just because if he does, what does that mean for him?
That's all it is. It's just deception too. By saying, because when I think about it, I praise God that I'm not in control of this, because I could mess up my name if I don't pay attention. But we're in the hands of Almighty God, and they find comfort in thinking that it's an accident.
Well, I think a lot of those cases, a lot of deists, when it gets down to the thought of what's going to happen to you, they just think I'm going to be fine. Either way, I'm either not going to remember anything, or if there is an a lot of people that are on the that are perceived to be on the inside that think that way about God. They think there is a God, but not necessarily everything that the Bible says about him is true. You know, just the things that I like that are true about God. You know, it would be easy to go to a group of people, group of professed Christians, and start asking them questions about God that come directly from what Scripture says, and you'll find a lot of them. They'll say, I don't think that's the case. You know, I believe in God of love, you know, the God of forgiveness. I don't believe in God of wrath. I believe in a God that's going to send people to hell. The guy that called himself an atheist to me said, so, I mean, would you send, you know, 80% or 75% of your children to hell? He said, I wouldn't do that. I don't believe in a God that would do that. Well, God's not going to send any of his children to hell. You know, everybody's not God's children. You know, not a child of God.
That's why I wish Adam Dawson was still there, because when you asked him that question about, I can't remember verbatim, but right about an innocent person in a third world country, and he was he said, "Which God's in the question?" And that's the way people do this. They'll ask these questions when the problem is in the questions being asked.
It's a presumption. It's like asking somebody, okay, yes or no, and you start being your wife. There's no way to answer that question without teeth. But it is, we do make those assumptions. We make the assumptions about God that everybody starts out innocent, and then some of them end up, you know, becoming sinners and not trusting God. But that's not the case. Everybody starts out lost. People say, well, how could God just save some and not others? Well, that's what God says. That's what God wants to do. That's God's choice. God does that. He says that he can do what he wants with what's his. It's simple as that.
Remember the verse so often where it says, you know, his word will not come back void. His word gets to everyone he sends it to.
It does. It does. All right. Where we're at. Buddy. Lay your hands on. Okay. Yeah, 19. But at night, an angel of the Lord opened the prison doors and brought them out and said, go stand in the temple and speak to the people all the words of this law. It's amazing there now. And you think, I mean, it doesn't tell us here what they were doing in prison at that time, but I don't think they were worried. I think they were fine. Probably in their scene like they are oftentimes we're told that. An angel comes to the prison, opens the doors, leads them out, and tells them to go back and start speaking. And think of things like this every once in a while. If somebody comes to your house, if you own a gun, somebody comes to your house and threatens your wife, your kids, then you're going to defend yourself. But you have to ask yourself, if somebody came to steal my truck, would I shoot them? And I think most people would. If they had a gun, would do that.
Probably not shoot them, but I'd point it at them.
Never point a gun at anybody. Never point a gun at anybody if you're going to shoot them.
I agree with you. If someone comes into my house to take my kids and my wife, I'm gonna hurt them. But I do that when I'm supposed to.
But that's different.
Not these people.
But that's different than if you're out preaching in public and they come to you and say, "We told you not to do this." They come arrest you. Then you go, yes, don't resist.
I almost think with them a lot of times they were going to these places like we're gonna get arrested and beat up today. High five about it.
They were just being obedient. They were doing exactly what they were being told.
That Canadian pastor, right, just got, they got arrested. You don't remember now, he, recently, he broke COVID regulation out there, and he held holy service, and they were keeping social distancing and all that, but, they said that he was breaking their law, and, he went willingly, and he said, I preached in jail, once I was released from jail, got back and preached again, and he said, praise God that I was arrested, because the publicity was that got put on me, I gotta share the gospel.
Noah said said the same thing about all of them. That, there's nothing they can do to him because they can't do him. They said don't kill him. He said that not saying, and they said we won't throw you in prison. He said good. I'll convert all your daughters to Christianity.
That's kind of what I'm thinking reading this too. I'm thinking they had to just get to the point where they're like, what are we gonna do with these guys? Everything we do,
We're going to get to that.
God's using it.
We're going to get to that. So if we get to a point here in the next couple of years where they say that it's against the law for us to preach or teach the word, then we will become criminals. Not that we're doing anything that's actually that we think is criminal, but if it becomes a law, in terms of the law making a law, it would be criminal for us to do that. And if Josh gets up here and is preaching on Sunday morning, and the police come in to arrest him for that, the men could all stand here and say, no, you're not going to arrest him, we're not going to let you, But that would not be the right thing for us to do. The right thing for us to do would be for us to get together. While he's going out the door, somebody step up there and start preaching behind him. So it is a tricky kind of thing. I like to think about somebody stealing your property and anything. A lot of people would shoot somebody for trying to steal their truck. But if somebody said, here's a truck, one of y'all can have this truck, would you shoot the other guy to keep him from getting it? We'll give you a free truck, whichever one of y'all comes out on top, would you shoot the other guy to get it? No, that'd be murder. So it's that kind of thing. We have to figure out what it is okay for us to do in defense. Now, defending another person, I think we're biblically justified in doing that.
So that's still in your truck, you just choke them unconscious.
I think you're okay there too. I think you're good there too. But there's a lot of those situations. You remember how it was with Johnny all that time. Johnny would tell me, say, you got to get some guns and some rice. Because things are going to get bad. When they get bad, people around here that don't have anything are going to come and they're going to try to steal your rice. I'm like, Johnny, I'm not going to kill my neighbors for rice. We'll eat the rice and die together. That's not making light of it. It's going to be an easy thing to do, but I just couldn't imagine the idea of storing up food and then storing up weapons to kill my neighbors when they came starving to get food. So, but I think these were men who had been directed by God through the Holy Spirit to do exactly this thing. Go out and preach and don't resist when they come for you. It's going to present opportunities for you to continue to spread the word. You see how that worked out for them. I believe the same thing. Maybe not the same dynamic way, but I believe the same thing. we allow God to strengthen us and use us, we will do the right thing. We haven't had to, but people do all over the world. People have to face these things.
That's part of what this class, that's part of what this is for. Just like I'm training, right? I mean, it's not like I've never been in a class since the time I'm training, but it's the time we're becoming, I'm prepared. It's the same here. It's like that may not ever occur.
And this even more so because this is training for something that we are supposed to go out and actively do. Right? I should start stressing that every week. Yes, we're supposed to start this fight. But it's different from any other fight. Right? The war of a Christian is not to defeat your enemy, it's to save your enemy, win your enemy over. All right. Go stand in the temple and speak to the people all the words of this life. That's a great way to put that too, isn't it? Speak to people all the words of this life, which means go preach Jesus Christ. When they heard that, they entered the temple early in the morning and taught. The high priest and those with him came and called the council together with all the elders of the children of Israel and sent to the prison to have them brought. But when the officers came and did not find them in the prison, they returned and reported, saying, "Indeed, we found the prison shut securely, and the guards standing outside before the doors. But when we opened them, we found no one inside." Now, when something like that happens, there's no denying that a miraculous thing just happened. Nobody came in, drugged the guards, picked the locks, snuck these guys out, closed all the doors back behind them, and got out of there. It's a miracle. They were miraculously delivered from that. So many things had to happen there. Now, when the high priest, the captain of the temple, and the chief priest heard these things, they wondered what the outcome would be. Then one came and told them, saying, "Look, the men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people." Now, what happens when you break out of prison? You run for it, right? You lay low, you disappear. You don't go right back to the very place and start doing the very thing you were doing. The captain went with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people, lest they should be stoned. And when they had brought them, they set them before the council. And the high priest asked them, saying, "Did not we strictly command you not to teach in this name? And look, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood on us." Pause that for just a second. Let that sink in. This thing has just happened.
They just accused him of trying to save all of them.
Yeah. Yes. Listen to what else they accused him of. They accused them. They're trying to say, you're trying to make it look like we're the one that put Jesus to death. Stop going around teaching this. And also this, didn't we tell you not to do this? I would love if they elaborated on it and said, didn't we tell you not to miraculously get out of prison and go back to the public square and start teaching about this man who we saw resurrected from the dead and saying that we were the one who killed him? That's what they're saying. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, "We ought to obey God rather than men. That should be our daily motto when we leave the house. We ought to obey God."
I think they said these things like twins. Said the answer to they all said it at once.
Yeah.
And if they're in there preaching, or they all preaching the same thing at the same time, or they all over the place.
Oh, think they're spread out somewhere here. They're tag teaming it. I don't know. I think so. I would have loved to have seen it. The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom you murdered by hanging on a tree. Pretty tough. I mean, there's
Do this in the public circle too.
That's almost like they're not like this.
But notice, this is where the boldness of Peter, that he's always had the boldness, was that he takes Peter and changes Peter's heart, but he still uses Peter. Yes, and that's what he'll do with all of us. You know, when Noah goes and witnesses to somebody, it's completely different than when David goes and witnesses to somebody. Same information, you know, the same gospel, but he uses you, and he uses you different than he uses Keith. And I think that's wonderful. It's wonderful because God doesn't have to do it that way. I don't remember who said this, but I love the way they said it. God not only decides who we say, but he decides how it's going to be done, and who he's going to let participate in the work. That's all it is. That's all your work in the kingdom is God is letting you help with the dishes. It's an amazing thought when you think about that. If you take the opportunity to witness to somebody after it's over, you should feel wonderful. Not because you've accomplished something, but because you just got to do something. You got a chance to do something for God. He didn't need you. Could have done it without you. Could have done it with anybody or with a rock. He says that these stop crying out and the rocks and the trees will cry out. He doesn't need us. But he lets us participate in the work of the kingdom. And he's going to let us participate in the reward. He's going to let us participate in the glory. It's just amazing to think of that. Who are we? Him, God has exalted to the right hand to be Prince and Savior, to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. I believe he's preaching the same thing to them that he was preaching in the temple. And we are his witnesses to these things. And so also is the Holy Spirit, whom God has given to those who obey him. When they heard this, they were furious and took counsel to kill him. What were they so mad about? Murderers. Yeah, that's exactly right. The light is there in the room right now. The light is exposing their sin. The light and the fire.
I'm going to tell you, before class tonight, I have got to make a phone call before 8 o'clock.
Okay,
So I'll do that.
do it. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and continue on since we're this far. Yeah. All right. Then one of the council stood up, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, whatever his name is. Gamaliel, a teacher of the law, held in respect by all the people, and commanded them to put the apostles out for a little while. And he said to them, Men of Israel, take heed to yourself what you intend to do regarding these men. Right? So he knew what they were planning on doing, is kill him. Right? This is a man who was at least intelligent enough in the wisdom of men to know that you don't want to make martyrs of these men right here. He says, for some time ago, Theudas rose up claiming to be somebody. A number of men, about 400, joined him. He was slain, and all who obeyed him scattered and came to nothing. Who was this man? Or what was this man? He was a false Messiah. We glean there. This was a man who, a false Messiah. Yeah. He had a following, but it came to nothing. After this, Judas of Galilee rose up in the days of the census and drew away many people after him. He also perished, and all who obeyed him were dispersed. And now I say to you, keep away from these men and let them alone. For if this plan or this work is of men, it will come to nothing. But if it is of God, you cannot overthrow it, lest you even be found to fight against God. That's prophetic, right? Brilliant thing that he said. This goes back to before, where I can't remember which one of the Pharisees was. He said, "Is it not prudent that one man should die, save the whole nation?" And they agreed with him. When they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded them that they should not speak in the name of Jesus and let them go. So they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. And daily in the temple and in every house they did not cease teaching and preaching Jesus Christ. We don't know. Don't skim by this too quickly. They decided, okay, we're not going to kill him, so we're going to beat him. Severely, I'm sure. Going to beat them. And a beating would have been something that would have been not only painful, but also humiliating. Would have taken them, beat them in front of people, maybe even stripped them down and beat them. And then told them, don't do it again. And send them away. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. We may get that opportunity. It seems crazy to sit here and say, wow, what a great opportunity that'd be to get a chance to be beaten in the public square, go to prison, or be put to death.
No other way, it is a fantastic thing.
It is.
I mean, what other way could we do what we need to do for God?
It is a fantastic thing. Now, I'm going to say this. If you think that you could bear up under this and come out of it rejoicing like this under your own strength, you're wrong. We can't handle this kind of stuff, right? It's like on The Princess Bride, you know. When they got Wesley strapped down to the albinos in there, and he said, so torture it is, huh? I can take torture. You think you're strong, but the machine, you know, you can't take torture. People in that movie, that I'm talking about, you'll see things in there where people being tortured, unbelievable things. You see people crack under that torture, but then you see people who, sometimes even the same people who crack moments later, and it's the Spirit of God who strengthens them through that. I mean, you think about it sometimes. Just sit and think about it. Now, I'm not ticklish. Everybody in here ticklish? Anybody?
Yes.
So somebody holds you down and tickles you. I know you. It's terrible. You can't take it.
I was thinking that the Easter plays when I was Jesus, there were 4 people with me, and there were 2 real ones in there that we were going to take out. And I told Kirk to leave one in. He said, "Well, it's just because I want to be authentic. I don't want to." And to be honest, it was probably just me being stupid, but I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I want to kind of see, I want to kind of experience the smallest degree, you know. And during actual play, and he hit me about 5 good times, and I was done. Like, you know, I thought it was, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is, I got what I asked for, and what I asked for is not what I wanted. But so I could imagine.
You even watch things like Braveheart or whatever, you know, they kind of bring you in and they say, okay, we're going to torture you unless you know, whatever it is they're asking you to do. You know, you confess this or you deny this or whatever. You don't survive. I mean, you don't get through those things on your own. You don't.
There's a reason the Nazis and stuff use signing bills. It wasn't because, I mean, they knew, you know.
Robert De Niro in Ronin, he said, everybody talks. You torture, everybody talks. He said, I got captured one time and he said, they got it out of me. And he said, what did they use on me? Manjula. What's a manjula? It's 3 parts yin, 3 parts feminine. He basically said, you're going to talk. You know, if you're lucky, you can lie and they'll believe it's the truth, but you don't stand up to torture. They did, and they did it joyfully. But it's the Spirit of God, it's the Holy Spirit, not you. You can't take this, but you can because of the strength that's in you. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll have that opportunity. I gotta say, thought of that is nothing like thinking about your kids going through.
He had been in first phase of the class for 3 years because you were not allowed to go back to your home country until you passed. And he was telling me one day we were out in the freezing cold water. It's crazy the way they can get you to do anything they want. They make it bad enough for you
That's all, folks.